When most shooters talk about deadly rounds, they'll point to high-caliber options like the .308, .45 ACP, or the 12-gauge slug. But the humble .22 LR, it's often dismissed as just a beginner's round or something for plinking cans. Don't be fooled by its size. The .22 long rifle cartridge has taken more human lives than any other caliber in history. That's not just an opinion, it's a fact supported by decades of ballistic and crime statistics. Today, we're diving into why this tiny, affordable round deserves more respect and caution than it typically receives. We'll explore its fascinating history, unique ballistic properties, and why law enforcement professionals sometimes fear it more than larger calibers. So stick around as we uncover why that little box of .22s sitting in your safe might just be the deadliest ammunition you own. Section 1. Who should consider .22 LR for defense? While we're not universally recommending the .22 LR as a primary defensive caliber, there are specific groups for whom it might be the most practical option. Recoil-sensitive individuals, those with arthritis, upper body injuries, or other physical limitations that make controlling larger calibers difficult. New shooters. The reduced recoil and noise make the learning curve less steep, potentially leading to better fundamentals and greater confidence. Those with financial constraints. When the choice might be between a .22 LR or nothing at all, the .22 LR is clearly superior. Individuals needing deep concealment. In situations where even a subcompact 9mm is too large, a tiny .22 LR might be the only option that can be carried discreetly. Those who refuse to carry anything else. Some people simply won't carry a larger caliber due to comfort, confidence, or personal preference. A .22 LR they'll actually carry is better than a 9mm left at home. The reality is that for many people, the choice isn't between a .22 LR and a .45 ACP. It's between a .22 LR and being unarmed entirely. In that comparison, the .22 LR wins every time. Section 2. Famous incidents. Let's talk about some infamous historical incidents involving the .22 LR that demonstrate its lethal potential. In 1981, John Hinckley Jr. used a Rohm RG 14.22 LR revolver in his attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan. While Reagan survived, Press Secretary James Brady was permanently disabled, and Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy and Washington, D.C. police officer Thomas Delahanty were also seriously wounded, all from a weak .22 revolver. In 1968, Sirhan used a .22 LR Ivor Johnson cadet revolver to assassinate presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy. The relatively small round proved fatal despite immediate medical attention. In 1990, 17-year-old Bella Twin used a single-shot .22 rifle to kill a world record grizzly bear in Canada. After spotting the bear at 30 feet, Twin put a perfect shot through the animal's temple, instantly dropping the 1,600-pound bear that had a skull measuring 16 15/16 inches, a world record at the time. A single .22 LR round took down one of the largest land predators on Earth. Section 3. Historical context. To understand why the .22 LR deserves respect, we need to look at its history. Developed in 1887 by the J. Stevens Arms and Tool Company, the .22 long rifle has become the most commonly produced ammunition cartridge in the world. Think about that for a second. With all the technological advancements we've seen in firearms over the last 135+ years, the humble .22 LR has remained essentially unchanged and remains the most popular round on the planet. That kind of staying power doesn't happen by accident. It happens because something works. The .22 LR was never designed to be a high-power round. It was created as an economical, low-recoil option for target shooting, small game hunting, and varmint control. But over its long history, it's proven itself capable of much more. Section 4. Real-world effectiveness. Let's look at some documented cases where the .22 LR proved effective in real-world self-defense scenarios. In 2013, a 15-year-old boy in Rochester, New York, used his father's .22 LR rifle to defend his home against multiple armed intruders. Despite being outgunned, the teen's accurate fire drove off the attackers without injury to himself or his younger siblings. In 2018, an elderly woman in Oklahoma used a .22 LR revolver to stop a home invasion. Despite her limited strength and dexterity, she was able to accurately place several shots, ending the threat. A 2020 incident in Florida saw a homeowner use a .22 LR pistol to defend against an attacker armed with a knife. The smaller caliber allowed for quick, accurate shots that stopped the threat before it escalated. These aren't isolated incidents. The Armed Citizen column published by the NRA has documented numerous successful defensive uses of .22 LR firearms over the years. The FBI's research indicates that most self-defense situations involve 3 to 5 shots fired at distances under 7 yards. Under these conditions, the advantages of larger calibers diminish, while the .22 LR's advantages in controllability and capacity become more significant. Section 5. Practical recommendations. If you're considering a .22 LR for defense, here are some practical recommendations to maximize its effectiveness. Choose quality firearms. Opt for reputable manufacturers with proven reliability. The Ruger LCP-2, Smith & Wesson M and P22 Compact, and Walther P22 are solid options in handguns. For rifles, the Ruger 1022 and Smith & Wesson M P1522 offer reliability and compatibility with common platforms. Select defensive ammunition. Standard velocity target rounds aren't optimal for defense. Choose modern defensive ammunition like Federal Punch, CCI Velocitor, or CCI Stinger for improved terminal performance. Prioritize reliability. Test your chosen firearm thoroughly with your defensive ammunition. Rimfire ignition systems are generally less reliable than centerfire, so confirming function is critical. Train for precision. The .22 LR's effectiveness depends heavily on shot placement. Regular practice focusing on rapid, accurate hits to vital areas will maximize your defensive capability. Consider capacity. One advantage of the .22 LR is higher capacity in a smaller package. Choose firearms that maximize this benefit when possible. Have realistic expectations. Understand that while effective in many scenarios, the .22 LR has limitations. Multiple well-placed shots may be necessary to stop a determined attacker. Section 6. Modern defensive ammunition. Recent years have seen significant advancements in .22 LR ammunition designed specifically for self-defense. These aren't your grandfather's plinking rounds. Federal's Punch .22 LR, for example, features a 29-grain, nickel-plated lead core bullet specifically designed for short-barrel handguns. It's optimized for penetration through common barriers like clothing while still expanding reliably. CCI's Stinger and Velocitor rounds offer higher velocities and specialized hollow points that increase tissue disruption significantly. Ammunition like CCI segmented hollow points are designed to split into 3 equal segments upon impact, creating multiple wound channels and increasing stopping power. While still not equal to centerfire defensive rounds, the gap has narrowed significantly with these technological advancements. Section 7. The psychological factor. Another aspect rarely discussed is the psychological impact of being shot, with any caliber. According to self-defense expert Massad Ayub, most people who are shot and know they've been shot will stop their aggressive action, at least temporarily. This psychological stop occurs regardless of whether the wound is immediately physically incapacitating. In many defensive scenarios, this pause is all that's needed to create distance, find cover, or otherwise change the dynamics of the confrontation. The sound of gunfire alone can be enough to end many confrontations. Add the physical impact and pain of being shot, and many attackers will reconsider their actions, even if the wound isn't immediately life-threatening. This isn't to suggest that psychological stops are reliable or should be counted on. They absolutely shouldn't be. But it's a factor that doesn't appear on ballistic gel tests or energy calculation charts. Section 8. Shot Placement, the Great Equalizer. This brings us to perhaps the most important factor in the effectiveness of any cartridge: shot placement. The reality is that any caliber from .22 LR to .500 Magnum can be immediately lethal with precise placement in vital areas. Conversely, even the most powerful handgun round can be survivable if it doesn't strike something critical. The advantage the .22 LR offers is that virtually anyone can place their shots accurately with it. The minimal recoil, limited muzzle blast, and reduced noise allow for faster follow-up shots, less anticipatory flinch, especially in newer shooters, greater accuracy at defensive distances, the ability to stay on target through multiple shots. Section 9. The Noise Factor. One often overlooked advantage of the .22 LR is its reduced noise signature. While still loud enough to cause hearing damage, the .22 LR produces significantly less noise than centerfire cartridges. In a home defense situation, this can be critically important. Firing a large caliber handgun or shotgun indoors without hearing protection can cause immediate and permanent hearing damage. The reduced report of the .22 LR, while still dangerous, reduces this risk somewhat. Additionally, if you're using a firearm to deter wildlife or in a rural setting where noise concerns are relevant, the .22 LR offers an advantage. Let's compare the decibel levels of various calibers. .22 LR from a rifle, approximately 140 decibels. 9mm from a handgun, approximately 160 decibels. 12-gauge shotgun, approximately 165 decibels, .223/5.56 from an AR-15, approximately 165 to 170 decibels. For context, 140 decibels is about the sound level of a jet engine at close range, while 165 plus decibels can cause immediate physical pain and permanent hearing damage. When suppressed, the .22 LR becomes even more hearing safe, often reaching levels that won't cause immediate hearing damage, though hearing protection is still recommended. Section 10. Accessibility and Practicality. Another factor that makes the .22 LR significant is its accessibility and practicality. Consider these aspects. Firearm size. .22 LR firearms can be made extremely compact while remaining reliable. This makes them easier to conceal and more likely to be carried consistently. Ammunition capacity. Due to the small size of the cartridge, .22 LR firearms typically hold more rounds than their centerfire counterparts. A compact .22 LR pistol might hold 10 plus rounds in the same space, where a 9mm might hold 6 to 7. Cost and availability. Even in times of ammunition shortages, .22 LR tends to remain more available and affordable than centerfire calibers. This allows for more regular practice, leading to better proficiency. Reduced barriers to ownership. The lower cost of both .22 LR firearms and ammunition makes gun ownership more accessible to people across economic spectrums. Take the Ruger LCP-2 in .22 LR as an example. It's tiny, holds 10 plus 1 rounds, has manageable recoil, and costs significantly less than most defensive pistols. For someone who might not be able to handle or afford a larger caliber, this offers a viable option that's better than being unarmed. Section 11. Misconceptions addressed. Before we wrap up, let's address some common misconceptions about the .22 LR. Myth 1. The .22 will just bounce off the skull. Reality. The .22 LR has more than enough energy to penetrate the human skull, as tragically demonstrated in numerous suicide and homicide cases. In fact, its tendency to ricochet internally rather than exit can cause catastrophic brain injuries. Myth 2. You'll just make them angry. No one shrugs off being shot with any caliber. While it may not cause immediate incapacitation, pain, blood loss, and psychological impact all contribute to stopping an attack. Myth 3. 22 LR is unreliable. Reality, modern quality, .22 LR ammunition from reputable manufacturers has reliability rates approaching centerfire ammunition. While the rimfire ignition system is inherently slightly less reliable, the difference with quality ammunition is minimal. Myth 4. .22 LR is only for practice. Reality. While excellent for training, the .22 LR has a long history of effectiveness in hunting, pest control, and yes, even self-defense scenarios when necessary. Myth 5. .22 LR won't penetrate heavy clothing. Reality. Standard velocity, .22 LR, easily penetrates heavy clothing at defensive distances, and high-velocity rounds perform even better. Modern defensive loads are specifically designed to overcome this potential limitation. Section 12. Pros and Cons Summary. Let's take a moment to summarize the pros and cons of the .22 LR for defensive use. Pros. Minimal recoil allows for accurate, rapid follow-up shots. Higher capacity in similarly sized firearms. More affordable for practice, leading to greater proficiency. Unpredictable wound channels can cause significant damage. Modern defensive ammo enhances terminal performance. Reduced noise compared to centerfire cartridges. Compact firearms are easier to carry consistently, more accessible to shooters with physical limitations. Cons. Less immediate stopping power than larger calibers. More dependent on precise shot placement. Less reliable penetration through barriers. Rimfire ignition system slightly less reliable than centerfire, limited effective range, potentially less psychological deterrent due to smaller size, less energy transfer to target, fewer expanding ammunition options compared to centerfire. The balance of these factors will vary based on individual circumstances, physical capabilities, and specific needs. No single caliber is perfect for every situation or person. So there you have it. The unassuming .22 LR, often underestimated but undeniably lethal in its own right. From its incredible accessibility and prevalence to its unique ballistic properties that can sometimes make it more dangerous than larger calibers, this little round commands respect. Remember, responsible gun ownership isn't about the size of your caliber. It's about understanding what each round in your collection is capable of and treating it with appropriate caution. The .22 LR continues to be one of the most versatile cartridges ever created. Whether you use it for training, small game hunting, competition, or home defense, never make the mistake of thinking it's just a .22. If you found this video informative, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to catch our upcoming series on underrated firearms and ammunition. Drop your thoughts about the .22 LR in the comments below. We'd love to hear your experiences. Until next time, shoot safely, shoot responsibly, and never underestimate what's in your magazine.